Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome in JE Live and our Thursday night, um, whatever this is, Q&A. What's up? Hope everyone's doing well. Did I watch the Batman yet? I did not, sadly. What's up, Jose? Super Bowl champs? Yeah. Yep. Hope everyone's Thursday is going well. I got a bunch of interviews to do later tonight, actually, within the next hour. So we're going to probably keep this around 40 to 45 minutes, but I'm here to answer any sort of questions, comments, concerns, all sorts of things like that. It could be anything. I have people all the time be like, oh, sorry, like I'm not asking Rams questions, or I'm asking MCU or DC. It doesn't matter, honestly. Ask whatever your heart desires, and I will try to answer it to the best of my ability. Please be sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, does this sound crazy? Trade Floyd to Chargers for Derwin James, bring back Miller, and sign Fowler Jr. Kind of no, but also kind of yes, and here's why. So, in hindsight, you'd be getting a younger player. You'd be getting a superstar caliber player in Derwin James. You'd be improving the cornerback room, the safety room, like the secondary would be upgraded. The problem with that is that the defensive ends, the defensive tackles, the outside linebackers, that room, the pass rusher room, would not be too keen on them trading away Leonard Floyd after this guy is a big reason why they became one of the most fierce defensive line in all of football. I talked about it yesterday. I think he's more valuable than Khalil Mack. I think he's great against the run. I think he's a really good pass rusher who's only, improved since he's gone to the Rams. I think that'd be a problem. I think, some people would have an issue with it. I think Derwin James at some point could end up being a Ram, but I wouldn't trade away Leonard Floyd to do that, at least not coming off a Super Bowl win. That seems a little harsh. What do you think of Jacob Harris? I love Jacob Harris. There's a video I did about Jacob Harris being compared to the next Calvin Johnson. Now, I'm not saying he will be the next Calvin Johnson, but I'm saying, athletically speaking, he's very similar in that regard to Calvin Johnson. Both, put together and, his 40 time and all of that. So, again, I'm not saying he's going to be the next Calvin Johnson, but I do think that he's somebody athletically that's very gifted. Jake, any news on our cap situation? Nothing at the moment. Pretty much everything I told you guys yesterday, pretty much the same. Stafford's numbers are rumored to be $35 to $45 million per year. So, he's going to work with the Rams on, a new contract extension. I would be shocked if that thing isn't done by the time the NFL draft rolls along. But that's just me. What are your thoughts? Okay, I saw that. Oh, you posted the same question twice. Okay, I thought I was losing my mind. All right, we're good. Yeah. So, that's pretty much that. I think so far what's on my mind, and hopefully to kick off some questions, because you guys are the show essentially. What's on my mind? I mean, the NFL right now, the combine's going on. There's not a lot of quarterbacks competing at the combine. There's not a lot of, we've seen it year after year, slowly but surely, players or prospects are starting not to utilize the combine as much. What are my thoughts on Bobby Brown? Well, very intriguing guy. He's only 21 years old, 22 years old. I think he's 22 now. And, with Bobby Brown, incredible athlete, really good in the trenches. He didn't get an opportunity because of who was ahead of him. But I think if they let go of Sebastian Joseph Day, Bobby Brown is going to fit right in there as the next man up behind Greg Gaines. So that could be the reason we don't see Sebastian Joseph Day back. But we'll see. I mean, maybe he does come back. Maybe he doesn't. Not really sure on that end. But we'll definitely find out soon whether or not Sebastian Joseph Day will remain a Ram, because his contract is up, and I think there are a lot of teams that would pay him handsomely to come on board, and rightfully so. Very good nose tackle in his own right. Austin Corbett, I could see either or. I mean, I could see him coming back. I could also see him getting paid out the ass, so to speak. I wouldn't be surprised if Austin Corbett ends up with the Bengals. They have a lot of cap space. He's familiar with Zach Taylor, and obviously they need all the help they can get on the offensive line. It's a team that was just in the Super Bowl. I would not be surprised if Corbett leaves, but I know the Rams probably want to keep him, and I would imagine that's probably the best course of action in that regard. So it's amazing how both our Super Bowl wins came down to 1 yard and we won them both. Yeah. Sometimes that's the way it is. Sometimes you're Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay's 2 Super Bowl wins, they blew out both teams. And they blew out the Chiefs 31-8, I believe, and then they beat the Raiders 42-21. So, yeah, I mean, sometimes you're 1 yard away, 1 yard short, 1 yard, and then sometimes you're the Bucks, and you're far from that. But it's interesting that you brought that up. Very interesting. Can we afford Quentin Nelson? No, and I don't think Quentin Nelson's going anywhere. Chris Ballard isn't going to let Quentin Nelson leave the Colts, I can tell you that much. What center or lineman would I target in the draft? Like I said yesterday, if you missed the Q&A, I need to do way more work on film, and I'm going to catch up on that this week, this weekend. But if I were to say anybody right now, Daniel Faalele, because I like his build, 6'8", 6'9", guy, very big. I mean, we're talking like, 380-something pounds, something like that. I mean, he is huge. I would like to have him, develop him, potentially be the right tackle of the future after Havenstein. But, I mean, for me, that's all I could really say at the moment. So if we can get Jensen, would you be comfortable with Shelton at center? Personally, I would. Well, Jensen is a center. So are you asking me if I'd be comfortable with Shelton at guard? Because, I mean, if Jensen's there, here's the thing about Jensen that Brian Allen does not do. Ryan Jensen kind of puts his stamp on the rest of the offensive line. So when you have a guy like Ryan Jensen that's in there, immediately it's going to impact everyone else on that offensive line. So because you have Ryan Jensen, he's a tone setter. This is somebody that plays angry. Like he's a mean dude. And you have him in the interior, he's helping out a guy like Shelton at center. Or Shelton at guard. Or he's helping out, whoever's at guard. Whether it's Edwards, or whether it's Tremaine Ankrum, or it's Noteboom, or it's Evans. I mean, he would help them out. So, in that sense, yeah, I mean, I think Jensen would have a huge impact on the interior, for sure. And I actually just saw Rusty, your comment, I basically answered your question before you even asked it. So that's kind of funny. Or before I saw it. Should we trade for Saquon Barkley? I don't see why you would. I love Saquon, but Saquon has injury concerns just as much as Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson. And I love Saquon, but the Rams got Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson. The running back that could come to the Rams is going to come via free agency or the draft. They're either going to decide we're good the way it is, or they're going to be like James Conner, Cordell Patterson, Jerick McKinnon, Malcolm Brown even, Kalen Ballage, come on down. One of you guys, come on down. I don't think Michel's back. I think that's the one thing I would put money on. One player that does not return to the Rams is Sony Michel. because he's going to get paid. And the team is going to want him to be a feature back or close to feature. And he's not going to want to be behind Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson next year. We already saw what happened when that happened in the Super Bowl. Appreciate that, AMS. I mean, I love doing these, I'm trying to find new ways, creative ways to keep the content rolling. It's tough during this part in the season. It's obviously I got to watch more film. That's really what it comes down to. But, I appreciate you acknowledging that. Yeah, well, that's the thing, Pineapples, is when you add a guy like Jensen, you don't know. Maybe Edwards does. That's the next step he needs to take. And so, then you bring back Corbett, and Corbett's already a top 10 guard. And now Corbett's next to Jensen. So maybe he turns into a top 5 guard next to Jensen. It's no different than having an Aaron Donald on the defense and how guys, up their game playing next to Aaron Donald. Playing with good players helps you out. It's why I think David Edwards has been helped out by Witt, but I think he really needs a center. And to me, Brian Allen played really well at the beginning of the year. I pointed it out left and right. But towards the end of the year, he started to falter. And I don't know if that was because of the injury that he suffered to his knee later on in the season or what, but he is not Ryan Jensen, I can tell you that. That O-line would be dangerous if Jensen joined. I agree. Jake, are you still sold on David Edwards, our left guard of the future? I don't know if I was ever sold on David Edwards as left guard. I like David Edwards. Honestly, I like him as a sixth man. If they could go out and get a Jensen, Saffold, keep Corbett, that would be my ideal offensive line. You bring back Noteboom, Whitworth retires, or Whitworth stays, and it's Whitworth, Saffold's back, you have Jensen at center, you have Corbett at right guard, and you have Rob Havenstein at right tackle. That would be my ideal offensive line. But if Whitworth does retire and Saffold isn't available, then I would like Noteboom at left tackle. At left guard, I'm totally fine with them if they have the money trying to pursue a guy like Brandon Scherf. So you get Scherf next to Noteboom for the foreseeable future. And then at center, you roll with, you either bring in Jensen, or you just roll with what you have. You don't bring back Brian Allen. You keep Coleman Shelton at center. And then guard, you bring back Corbett. Or if you don't bring back Corbett, you draft a guard. Or you use Edwards at right guard. Something like that. And then you have Havenstein at right tackle. I think really what it comes down to is this. Next year, the Rams are really set up at right tackle more than any other position. I think even as great as Noteboom has looked, and I love Noteboom, I think Noteboom's going to be a hell of a left tackle. I think Havenstein and his ability in the playoffs was so much on display. He didn't have the best Super Bowl, but before that, he was so impressive to me. Rob Havenstein immediately becomes the best offensive lineman on that offensive line. And I don't think it's relatively close. Noteboom would be second. If they get Jensen, he's probably the best on the offensive line. But, we'll see. I don't know. I think, well, here's the thing. I don't know about you, but I could see Saffold getting released. I could see the Titans letting him go. He's older, So let's look at it right now. We got Roger Saffold. 1 second. I'm learning to go on SpoTrack on my laptop instead of this because it slows down this stream. Okay, so Saffold's 33. Let's keep that in mind. He's a free agent after 2022, which he'll then be 35 years old. So he's going to turn 34 this year. I could see, in some case, the Titans letting him go. If the Titans get rid of Saffold pre-June 1st, they would have $2.3 million in dead cap and they'd have a $10.5 million cap saving. I think that the Titans are going to get rid of Saffold. I don't have any knowledge in that fact. Like, I don't have anybody behind the scenes telling me this. But I think that is there's a very good chance that happens. See, the Tennessee Titans, they've had some good cap for years. They've really done a nice job. However, this year, they have negative $6 million in cap. I think Saffold is 100% a cap casualty. And I think the Rams should jump on that if that's the case. You don't have to give up on Edwards. Maybe you move Edwards to right guard. Maybe you move Saffold to right guard. But I definitely think Roger Saffold coming back would make a lot of sense. And that's the guy, if I'm looking to get any two guys on the offensive line, it's Saffold and it's Ryan Jensen. Simple as that. Older guys, sure. But your mission right now with Stafford is to just keep him upright. And if you're Les Snead, Sean McVay, you watch any time Stafford pulled, just threw it downfield, you watched him pick himself back up, limp. No. He's about to get a long-term deal. You want to keep him upright for that deal. I'm paying Jensen, and I'm bringing Saffold back as the Titans are 26th or 27th in the league in salary cap. And we'll go through it right now to see, because you save $10 million if you cut Roger Saffold. $10 million. But let's look at their cap situation, because like I said, they have negative cap. So what they probably do is restructure Tannehill. They would save him $13.9 million. Okay, that puts him at $4 million in cap. Okay? Then you have Bud Dupree. Can you restructure him? Sure. It'd save you $11 million. Now you have $15.3 million in cap space. You could restructure Byard. That would save you $7.3. You could restructure Derrick Henry. That would only save you $5.4. So we're at $28 million in cap. Restructure Taylor Lewan. That'd save you $5.8. We're at $34 million. Restructure Julio Jones at 5.1. We're at $39 million. But why do that? Why do that? They're paying a ton of money to these guys, and I'll be honest with you, I definitely think Saffold. You can't restructure Saffold. He's on his last year. They cut him. They saved $10 million in cap space. That is more money than they would save on anybody except for a Bud Dupree restructure and a Ryan Tannehill restructure. And I don't know if they want to kick that can down the road for Ryan Tannehill or Bud Dupree. And so for that reason, I think Roger Saffold makes a ton of sense for the Rams, because I think he's going to be the cap casualty no one is talking about. And if people have been talking about it, I'm sorry. I haven't heard it. So I'm just telling you what I think. I think Roger Saffold coming back to the Rams needs to happen. And not just for the good feels of it all. Not just because we love Saffold. No. He makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense. And he is a cap casualty candidate for sure. The Titans can only free $39 million with about 6 restructures. So they would only have $39 million in cap space with 6 restructures. If you don't think that they're at least considering cutting Roger Saffold, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I truly don't know what to tell you. Here are their free agents, okay? They got Ben Jones. They got Rashaan Evans. They got Harold Landry they have to pay. Harold Landry is going to be at least $15 million, at least. And you got Ferkser. You got Jayon Brown, another probably expensive free agent. You got Randy Bullock, the kicker. You got Dane Cruikshank. I mean, they got some guys they have to pay. Kessenberry, Tyre Tart, their nose tackle, they have to pay him. There's a lot of guys here. So, yeah. I think 100% Roger Saffold is probably on the chopping block, and the Rams have to take advantage of it. Okay, going back. I agree. I think the O-line would be nasty if Jensen joined. How do you feel about Kingsbury re-sign? I love it for the Rams. I think Kingsbury gets a lot of crap, but I think he's a pretty solid head coach. I don't think he's Sean McVay, but he's solid. What's up, Michael? Any GM who buys the Trey Lance isn't ready narrative is a fool. Niners trying to drive up Jimmy. Yeah, trade value. I agree. And I mean, hey, you guys know I'm a big Trey Lance fan. I think that guy is special. And I haven't been wrong on a QB1 in a while. I mean, let's see. When's the last time I was wrong about a QB1? I mean, I might have been. Let's see here. So we go from 2016. Well, I guess I was wrong, but I think a lot of us were wrong. I mean, I had Wentz and Goff. Who's better? One has the Super Bowl ring as a backup, but they wouldn't have been there without him. One lost the Super Bowl. They're pretty comparable, honestly. I mean, Dak is better. So, I don't know. I got that wrong. So then we have, 2017? Patrick Mahomes. I think I nailed that one. 2018, Lamar Jackson. I think I got that one. Oh, no, 2019 was Lamar Jackson, right? 2019 was Lamar Jackson. What's 2018? Why can't I not remember? 2018 was... no, 2018 was Lamar Jackson. 2019 was Kyler Murray. So I got those three, I would say. Mahomes, Lamar, Murray. 2020 was Joe Burrow. Got that one. And then 2021 was Trey Lance. So we'll see if Trey Lance comes away, but I've done a little bit, I've done some good with the quarterback classes. So, I think Lamar Jackson is very clearly the best quarterback in that class. He's won an MVP. Oh, well, you know what? Allen. Okay. I'll say this. Josh Allen looks amazing. So it's close though. I mean, one guy has an MVP. 2019 Kyler's by far. Let's see. I'm trying to look through these. Okay, Allen is an undersized technician. We need a mauler at center, period. Jensen is that mauler. Would we trade for Saffold? I think I answered this, but no, you wouldn't have to. I think he's a cap casualty. Love asking offensive line questions. Reminds me of my old days playing in the trenches in high school. Can we get Dalvin Cook's brother from the draft, Georgia Bulldogs running back? Who's Dalvin Cook's brother? Dalvin Cook's brother. I don't know who Dalvin Cook's brother is. Oh, it just switched it to broker. That's probably why it didn't look. Okay. Is it James Cook? Nope. Yeah, it is. Okay, James Cook. I don't think they need a running back in the draft. I think that they should go with the free agent, go with a veteran guy. I mean, I'd love Cordarrelle, as you guys know. I don't know if it's likely, but I would love it. Guys, be sure to like this. Give the thumbs up on this video. Would really appreciate it. Need all the help we can get because, man, the algorithm isn't being too kind to me lately. Edwards can play left tackle in the pinch. Yes, he can. How do you like Dwayne Brown as a Witt replacement if Noteboom leaves? That's interesting. I mean, to me, I don't see them letting Noteboom leave. That's the thing. If Whitworth stays, then Noteboom might leave. But I don't see Noteboom leaving if Whitworth doesn't stay. I think he's pretty much a lock to be back. There's no reason why he would leave. There's just none. So Dwayne Brown has some injury concerns that I have issues with. Plus, he's a little bit older, but still a good player. Saffold, Jensen, Corbett, and Havenstein would be a mauling line. Yeah. And then you have Noteboom. That'd be nuts. I can imagine it too. Jake, I just bought Elden Ring. I hope I don't regret it. HD, you won't regret it. Just stick with it. It's going to be tough. It was tough for me. You want some motivational videos? Go back and watch my first stream of it on this channel. I almost quit the game, and I kept doing it. Post Lamar Jackson 2021 passing stats. Hey man, he led the league in passing the year he won the MVP. So passing touchdown. So I don't know. I think Lamar is. Yeah, come on now. Lamar Jackson is a quarterback. I think it's so funny going back and watching those old videos when everyone was like, yeah, Lamar, are you going to play wide receiver in the NFL? He's like, no, I'm a quarterback. And then what do? He wins an MVP. I love that. 2018 was Lamar and Allen. 2019 was Kyler. Jake, so what position do the Rams need to draft? Cornerback and interior offensive line. I mean, I don't think Greg Roman is the best offensive coordinator, but I also think Lamar was dealing with COVID. He was dealing with injury issues. And keep in mind, we were supposed to see him with what's his face, the receiver they got, and he started off the season hurt. Sammy Watkins isn't any good, so it was Marquise Brown and Mark Andrews. That was really it. Oh, Bateman. That's who I'm thinking of. Why are we slandering Lamar Jackson, man? Come on. You know that's my guy. What should we do at tight end room? I think we're good with Harris, Hopkins, and Higbee. CJ, I mean, honestly, I think they're fine. If they want to go and grab a guy in the draft late, cool. But I like their tight ends as it is. Harris, Higbee. Well, Harris is a receiver, basically. So you got Hopkins, Blanton, and Higbee. And Harris, potentially. You know, I think they're fine at tight end. They could bring back Munt. We'll see. I don't know what they'll do. HD, I'm planning on doing a gaming stream tonight if I have the energy to. I do have a bunch of interviews tonight with a bunch of prospects that will be posted at a later date. So Alexis and I are going to be busy tonight doing those interviews. Yeah, but Delaney Walker's been out of the league now. You know, I don't know. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know what more you would want in a tight end group. You know, Higbee's a do-it-all guy. He's really progressed. And then you have Hopkins, who you don't win a Super Bowl without him. And then you have Blanton, who you don't win the NFC title game without him. So these guys have stepped up in the receiving game. Blanton is also a do-it-all guy, better blocker. People don't realize Kendall Blanton only didn't get drafted because Albert Aquinabunum from Mizzou started over him. He overshadowed it. I think Blanton was the better overall talent. But Alberto was the freakish athlete, and so that, I mean, Blanton looks pretty good. Blanton won a Super Bowl. I'll take Blanton. And Hopkins, you have to feel good about Hopkins. The way he stepped up in those clutch moments. The problem with Munt is that he's now torn his ACL 3 times. I don't think people realize the origin story of him. Like, when he was at Oregon, he was supposed to be, really good. And his receiving ability was impressive. He was an athlete. And then he tears his ACL twice. And it kind of forces him to have to play the blocker role and be a UDFA and work his way up in the NFL. So, you're confident in the Stallions' running game. The Stallions, I don't know. I don't really like their quarterback, Magoo. I don't know. I think he's okay. I'm not sold on him. I hope Muntz stays healthy. I'm not trying to give my other ACL. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I don't know if they'll bring him back necessarily. I agree, Michael. I think that's why they're able to do what they do. If they didn't draft as well or find UDFAs as well as they do, they wouldn't be able to do the way they do. So, oh, Jamar, yeah. I think Jamar's the better option, but you know. Yeah, that'd be cool. Michael, who's going to be your USFL team? Speaking of the USFL, I'm going to have my guy Kyle Sloter, starting quarterback of the New Orleans Breakers. He is going to be on the show, and he's coming on Monday. I agree with that, and Alex Magoo never did anything in preseason either. No, I would definitely start Jamar Smith, but we'll see what Skip Holtz does. Tony Brooks James, I really like. I'm not a huge CJ Marable fan, but Tony Brooks James had some moments, with the Falcons, so I like him. I really like the pick of Victor Bolden Jr. He spent some time around the league a little bit. I believe he was with the 49ers at one point. I like him. Emmanuel Hall, I also like. Osiris Mitchell, I like those guys. And then, I think, Dugas, Powers, McCray in the trenches, definitely something I like there. But aside from that, I'm not a huge fan of this roster. Look out for Terrell Hanks. I will not be surprised if Hanks ends up leading the USFL in tackles. Would not be surprised at all. I know they got Scooby Wright as well. They got some length, man, in Brian Allen and Brian Mills. Those are some guys there. And then the back end, their secondary, Tyree Robinson, is definitely somebody that I've got my eyes on out of Oregon. So, will do. Yeah, I was gonna be a Generals fan, and then they passed on Kyle Sloter, so I went wherever Sloter went, and now I'm covering the Breakers. So, I normally don't like New Orleans teams. Nothing against New Orleans. I just have never liked a New Orleans team before, but you know. Yeah, Marable was really good at Coastal Carolina. I do remember that. Harold Watson. Harold Watson. I probably can't just put Harold Watson in because all it does is come up with an obituary of somebody I've never heard of. Um, you said SMU. Why have I never? Ernest Jones lining up next to Bronco free agent middle linebacker would be intriguing. Lycidas is supposed to be at the combine, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on a sec. I'm going to look it up now. Yeah, I don't know about that, Monty. I was shocked as well. I thought Presley, looked really good in the XFL. Rashad Ross, I mean, come on. This is a spring league gem, you know. Not really sure why he's not on a team, but looking right now for you. So the offensive lineman, did they do anything yet? Doesn't appear so. Let's see participants. Offensive line. I know Falele was there. I like him a lot. You got Tyler Smith. Where's Lycidas? Oh, there he is. Okay. Yeah, Lycidas Smith is... I knew he was. So Lycidas Smith is in attendance. He's going to be participating at the NFL Combine. Yeah. Damn, there's some really good offensive linemen in this class. Evan Neal, Linderbaum, Cross, Iquanu, Kenyon Green, Zion Johnson, Trevor Penning, Dylan Parham, Falele, Sawyer, Ryman, Mitchell, Cole Strange from Tennessee, Chattanooga, Tyler Smith, Lycidas. Yeah, there's Sean Ryan from UCLA. There's some good ones. Yeah, I didn't see any bench, so nothing has been registered for any of the guys. Alexander Johnson. Oh, I love Alex Johnson. Yeah, we'll see what happens with him. We'll see what happens. I like him a lot. The Rams typically don't spend money on, linebackers, so age had to have had a factor, Monty, because I'm sure they want these guys to have more of a chance. Like, I don't think Rashad Ross at this point, since he's in his 30s, has really much of a chance at the NFL at being, But, like, I look at Kyle Sloter here, and guys like him, Jordan Ta'amu, they're a really good season in the USFL away from potentially being a next man up guy. I mean, Kyle Sloter was the backup to Sean Mannion in that game on Sunday Night Football for the Minnesota Vikings towards the end of the season. Like, Sloter is not far away. He just needs a shot. Sauce Gardner is like my favorite player in the draft. One of my favorites. I'll be honest with you. I like him more than Derek Stingley. I think Stingley's a little bit overrated. Normally I love the LSU DBs, but I think Stingley's a little bit overrated. I like McDuffie. I think Booth is overrated a little bit because he's from Clemson, but Kaiir Elam I've heard good things about. Kobe Bryant's a guy I like. Yeah. Would you be okay if the Rams took the O lineman Dr. Strange with the fourth round pick? I think that's probably where he'll go, so I wouldn't mind it. Right now, anyway. Yeah, Cole Strange. Comparisons J.C. Treader. If you can't find tape, go watch against South Carolina in 2018. He was probably about awesome. Yeah, just reset the page. Oh well. Yeah, I think I'd be okay with that. Where strategy do you think the Patriots go towards? What strategy do you think the Patriots go towards in the draft? Okay. Well, I think when you look at the Patriots from top to bottom, they got a really good roster. I believe in Mac Jones. I'm sure they do. Running backs are good. You have Ramondre Stevenson. You have Damian Harris. Receivers. You could probably go a receiver. I really like what I saw to Kendrick Bourne. I like Jacoby Myers. I like Nelson Aguilar. I think they just need one more big time guy, right? And so let's see here. Where are you picking in the NFL draft order? Probably late, I would imagine. Like 26 or something. So Patriots here would be picking earlier than that. 21st. Okay. 21st. I think a cornerback is definitely necessary because, you're not going to have J.C. Jackson, all likelihood. I don't think he comes back. So, if I'm the Patriots, I'm looking at Trent McDuffie, Sauce Gardner in the first round. And if I'm looking at receiver, seeing maybe Jamison Williams, Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Jahan Dotson. I like Jalen Tolbert personally. I think he's underrated. But I could definitely see that. So to me, if I'm the Patriots, I'm going wide receiver or corner in the first round. But I think that's probably the best course of action. They got a really good offensive line. They stacked their defense. They stacked their tight ends with free agency. To me, the one thing, though, you got to replace J.C. Jackson. And you got to replace J.C. Jackson and Stephon Gilmore because you trade away Gilmore. So you got to find at least somebody. I think if I were the Patriots right now and Sauce Gardner's available, I'm probably picking him because I think the guy is special. You talk about just everything that he has. I think Derek Stingley is going to go ahead of him. But I think Sauce Gardner's potential is going to put him up here when it's all said and done. So if I'm going anywhere, I'm going to go with Sauce Gardner. I think not only does he remind me of Richard Sherman, that 6'3", he's not a huge body, right? Like he's slender built, but I really do think at the end of the day, this is probably going to be your best cornerback from this class. And I'll tell you right now, I trust Cincinnati defensive backs. They really do a nice job with them, and I don't think Sauce Gardner is any different. So I think Gardner to the Patriots makes a lot of sense. Trent McDuffie I could also see as well. But that's what I'm thinking. I know everyone's in love with Treylon Burks, but I kind of feel like the most upside in this class is Jamison Williams or Drake London. London's a 6'4", 200-pound, 210-pound guy. I think the injury is going to scare some teams away, but he's just a complete and utter mismatch on the boundary. So to me, you look at the ball control, the body control, obviously, and I think this is somebody that could really help you in the red zone. And I think this is pretty much what the Patriots are missing because they're missing that big-time receiver. Either way, with him and Williams, they're getting a guy coming off an injury. So you have to be okay with that. But, I think those are some guys. And I think a really good value in this class might be John Mechie, who might fall the second round out of Alabama. You know, I think those two could help out. I'm very curious to see what ends up happening with Jalen Tolbert. I really do like him coming out of South Alabama, but we'll see. I think he's underrated. He kind of reminds me a little bit of like I don't know, to a degree. I see some Greg Jennings in his game. I see some Marvin Jones. So I think Tolbert is underrated. If Pickett fell to the Rams' third round spot, what would you do? I'd still probably not pick him. I'd probably trade the pick away, make a team pay a premium. There's no point in getting Kenny Pickett because the Rams are going to have Stafford for another 4 years at least. So, I'd probably trade the pick away. Matthew, thank you so much for donating. What's up, Jake? Rams #1, but I have interest in the Jaguars as I am a Clemson and Trevor fan. Just wondering your thoughts on the Peterson hire and how it will affect Trevor. Also thinking they need to draft offensive line. I'm agreeing with you there, and thank you again so much for the donation. With the Jaguars picking #1 overall, you have your quarterback in Trevor Lawrence, and there's not even a quarterback that you would consider in this class to be better than Trevor Lawrence. So, with that being said, you have your receivers for Lawrence, you have ETN, you have J-Rob. You look at the defense; they've done a nice job adding some defensive pieces over the last few years. They could upgrade at defense, but I agree with you. Offensive line is crucial for Trevor Lawrence's development. And so for me, I'm looking at #1 overall, I'm looking at Evan Neal. I'm looking at Ekwonu. I'm looking at Charles Cross. Like, those are the guys that I'm looking at #1 overall. Probably Evan Neal or trade. And here's the thing. I would not be surprised if Jacksonville trades the pick. All right. So we have the draft order in front of us here. If Jacksonville trades down to, say, 5 with the New York Giants, or if they trade down to, say, I don't know why I did that. If they trade down to, say, I don't know, 6 even, Carolina, they go up and they get their franchise quarterback. I mean, they're talking about re-signing Cam Newton. They have to be desperate enough to pick a quarterback #1 overall. So say Carolina goes up and they select Malik Willis. So now Jacksonville has probably 2 first-rounders out of that, a third, a second, something like that. So they bulk these picks and they pick at 6. And if they pick at 6, then they're still going to have an opportunity to get one of these guys in Ekwonu, Cross, and Neal, I think. And even if not, you could be looking at, a big-time safety in Kyle Hamilton. You could be looking at a pass rusher in Kayvon Thibodeau or Aiden Hutchinson. Or you could just be looking at a cornerback in, Sauce or Stingley. Or you could trade down. Again, I really would not be surprised if they trade the pick. As far as the last part of that question, Matthew, I think personally that Doug Peterson was a good hire because it's not that I'm really high on Peterson's overall ability like by himself. It's that I'm high on his ability to find the right guys and piece them together. He puts together a really good coaching staff. And let's be honest here. If the Colts don't do well next year, if they don't, and, we have Frank Reich get fired, Frank Reich is going to end up in Jacksonville. Like, he's going to end up in Jacksonville. It's going to be Frank Reich and Doug Peterson again. To me, Doug Peterson gets the right guys around him. It's why he won a Super Bowl. I think it makes sense. I think it's going to help out Trevor Lawrence. I think he's got enough weapons around him to really help him out as well. Jake, do you think Tutu Atwell or Brandon Powell can step up as receiver this year, even Van Jefferson, as he did struggle a lot? Van Jefferson didn't struggle a lot, Josh. I think Van Jefferson struggled recently, which is still etched in your mind because he didn't have a great Super Bowl. But Van Jefferson had over 800 yards in his second season. He was top 7 in the league in yards per reception. He's still very, very good. I could see Atwell having a role as a receiver, did lead the NFC in receptions in the preseason. I don't know necessarily about I don't think they're going to use Brandon Powell in that case, because if they were going to use him, they would have used him sooner than that. So I have high hopes for the Jets' future if they can take advantage of their amazing offseason set up ahead of 2022-2023 season. Do you think coaching will be a huge deal in the USFL, like guys that have only been college coaches versus guys who have been proving themselves? I don't. I think it's going to matter more with the players. I don't think coaching will be as much of an impact, but, that's that. What's up, CJ? How's it going, Jake? Been a minute since I stopped by. Beer is coming in nicely. Yeah, right. Some people would disagree, but I appreciate you, CJ. Hope all is well. I hope we draft a linebacker like Brandon Smith, somebody with great speed at linebacker. Brandon Smith from Penn State. Yeah, I mean, I could see him being there, definitely. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate everyone for the Thursday night Q&A. We'll see if we'll probably do another one tomorrow, and we'll try to do these nightly. But that's gonna do it for me. So, I'm off to record some interviews with prospects. You'll see those soon on the Downtown Rams podcast. I'm also out of here. Later, guys.